How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. On today's race, we are driving the Lancer Evo Group 3 at the Red Bull Ring. Hopefully trying to get a decent position. Thankfully, during qualifying times, we were able to get a sufficient enough time to get us into P4, which is definitely a lot better than I was expecting after that qualifying run. It was about 1 minute and 32 seconds and so on and so forth, but we managed to luck out and get into P4, which still makes me pretty happy right now. So right now we're going to be starting in P4, coming up behind the Evo and getting up to this first turn, which actually is one of my least favorite turns because everybody seems to go at this turn full speed and they're either sending it off the map or they're crashing right into your car. If your car doesn't ghost, tough luck, your race just got ruined before it even started. We have P2 getting a penalty, probably for getting outside the track limits, slowing down now, taking this first turn. Oh, and we have two cars off the map now. We were able to gain one position off of this first turn, which is great. I mean, if I can keep this up, then it's definitely going to be worthwhile for this race. We may even be looking at, a P1 finish. Taking the second turn now, trying to, nope, wasn't able to get the overtake on this one, but that's okay because, so far we're having pretty good momentum on this race. Settings have definitely changed up a little bit, so now we're actually driving on a manual transmission instead of automatic, and I believe that for this race at least, the ABS was actually turned from default to weak. I wasn't too comfortable turning it down all the way. I'm not really sure that there's a need for it either, but definitely just trying to do whatever I can to get faster lap times here, even if it means having to shake off some of the cobwebs and relearn some fundamentals and get the hang of these new settings. But overall, for the most part, I think we're performing pretty well on this race. Taking the first turn again, still behind. We have a gap of 0.7, averaging around 0.7, 0.8 with the car in P2 right now, but I think we're going to be able to do pretty well and close the gap here shortly. So one of the things I definitely like about this track is that it's got a lot of long straightaways, which if you get your gearing correct, you can do a lot of catching up, or creating space between you and the car behind you and not having to play too much defense. But for the most part, my focus on this part right now is just trying to close the gap between me and the car in P2, and hopefully at the end of this race, possibly ending with a P1 finish. But I guess we'll just have to finish this race and see what happens. So definitely still a little shaky on the line. There's still a few places where I feel like my lines can get definitely more refined. I can definitely see myself not using as much of the track as I really want to, but that's just going to come with time. Here I went into the corner a little too fast and had to slow down, so I didn't receive that penalty for exceeding track limits and ended up getting overtaken by the Porsche. So now that's another battle that we're going to have to deal with whenever that time comes up. So we're here, taking the turn again. Porsche swinging it a little bit wide. If anything, that's probably the line that I want to take, as long as it doesn't earn me a penalty. I guess that's going to be fine. That's probably what I should be doing, but like I said, my track knowledge just isn't too sharp right now. Porsche swings a little bit wide. Gonna come up on him right now and see if we can try to close this gap on this straightaway before we get to our second turn here coming up soon. He starts slowing down. I try cutting in and accidentally make contact, so I'm going to give him that position back. With the gap only being 0.8, 0.7 roughly, I think that's still a pretty good chance. I'm coming up a little too wide on this turn right here, a lot wider than I would have hoped for, but we will be trying to clean it up and trying to clean up the race a little bit and catch back up and see what the results are like in the end. May just be the race getting to me, because at least qualifying time we were able to pull out a 132. I feel like if I was able to average 132 per lap consistently, then we would definitely be in a lot more of a better position than we are now. But I guess that's just going to come with practice and time, seeing how we move on from here. Right now, the gap in the front is reaching a 2.5 with the car that's trailing me at also at a 2.0, 2.3. It's very fluctuating right now, so it's not really stable. So we're just going to keep on focusing on the car in front of us and trying to do the best we can, not really feeling the need to worry about what's going on behind me too much, just because of that 2.0 to 1.9-ish gap that we're able to maintain right now. Once he starts getting into if the rear car starts getting into like the 0.9, 0.7, that's when I'll have to focus more on playing a defensive role just to, maintain the position that we're at right now. So here we go on the 5th lap, and we were actually able to pull out a 1.3, so definitely improving a little bit, definitely getting a little bit faster on the track. Now I feel like I'm actually getting warmed up now, so far so good. The gap for P3 now increasing to 3 seconds, which is definitely, not what I want, but that's how these races are. I do understand that there's people who drive a lot faster than me. They have their lines more refined. So we're just gonna take that as it is and just keep on racing our race. Whoa, look at that. And now we're able to get into P3 due to the P3 car and P2 car having a 4-second penalty. They must have made contact. He must have sent him off the track, which is why he got that penalty. So lucky for us, this is probably going to be our time to pull ahead and stay ahead. So P1 car is a little bit too far ahead, so I don't think my hopes are too high up in getting a P1 finish, but we will definitely try to retain this P2 position and hold it out until the end of the race. So right now we have a 10-second gap between me and the person in P1, but there is a 2.5-second gap between me and the person in P3. So now we're going to probably just focus on that a little bit more now that we have actually, some clean air and nobody to really challenge us or try to slow us down. We're just going to try to drive the cleanest line that we possibly can, and hopefully that can take us to the end with a P2 finish. Yeah, definitely noticing that my lines could use a little bit more refinement. I'm definitely not using the maximum, limits of the track to be able to get around, but with a P2 position and the race almost being done, I'm really not trying to do anything too crazy right now. Really just want to finish the race as high as I possibly can, which is probably going to be this P2. Gap is slowly decreasing. We went from a 2.7 to a 2.5, but now we're back to a 2.7, 2.8, almost to a 3. So we're definitely creating some distance between us and the car in P3, which is definitely a comforting feeling. And that's what's going to, give us this P2 finish, which is great. It's definitely a lot better performance than when I first originally started racing on this track. And here we go. We got our P2 finish. I know this was definitely a little bit of a shorter video. Definitely didn't want to drag the video on more than I was hoping to. There's there's really no reason to have to do that. So, I mean, if you made it to the end of the video, I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for tagging along, and hopefully we can see you guys in the next video. Thank you.